I'm going to show you how to make the in the hoop holly bunting from Kreative Kiwi, and for that I'm going to be using my 5x7 hoop, wash away stabilizer. I've got 3 threads, gold, red and green, and I've got a matching red bobbin, my scissors, a stitch unpicker, my fabrics and batting cut to size, and some masking or painter's tape. I've hooped my 2 layers of wash away stabilizer and I've pinned it round the edge just to hold it nice and taut in the hoop, and I've loaded file L into my machine. I'm now going to pop this into my machine and stitch round number 1, and that's going to give me my placement outline. You're going to place your batting over the outline and then put your main fabric over the top and tape it in place so that it doesn't move during stitching. You're now going to pop that into your machine and stitch round number 2, and that's going to secure the batting and the fabric. You want to load whatever colour you're having your quilting. In my case it's going to be gold, and then you're going to stitch round number 3. Take your fabric that you're using for your letter and place it over the outline, and just use a little bit of tape to hold it in place. Pop it into your machine and stitch round number 4 to secure it. I've removed the tape and I'm now going to trim around the edge of the stitching to remove the excess fabric. Once you've done that, you're going to pop it into your machine and stitch round number 5, and that's going to zigzag around the edge. I suggest you put the colour in, the colour thread that you want for the satin stitch afterwards, because that's going to come immediately after the zigzagging. You're definitely going to want to load the thread that you're going to use for the satin stitching now, if you haven't done it already. And you're now going to stitch round number 6, and that's going to do the edge around the letter. You're now going to place your fabric for the leaves over the outline, and bear in mind that sometimes there is an overlap with the leaf coming over the letter, depending on what letter it is, and then tape it down. And you can pop that into your machine and stitch round number 7, and that's going to secure your fabric. You're now going to trim up the excess fabric from around the leaves. Make sure you've got your green thread in your machine, and you're now going to stitch round number 8, and that's going to zigzag all around the raw edge of the leaves. Next you're going to stitch round number 9, and that's going to do all the veins in the leaves and the satin stitch around the edge. You're now going to place your berry fabric over the centre here and tape it down. You can now pop that in your machine and stitch round number 10, and that's going to secure your fabric. You're now going to trim away all the excess fabric from around your berries. Pop the hoop back into your machine and stitch round number 11, and that's going to do the zigzagging around the edge of the raw edges. You're now going to stitch round number 12, and that's the satin stitching around the berries. You're now going to add your backing fabric, so turn your hoop over and place your fabric over the back and tape it down in place. You're now going to pop your hoop back into your machine and stitch round number 13 to secure it. And that will also give you the placement for your eyelets. We're now going to trim off all the excess fabric and batting and also remove the fabric from inside the eyelets, both back and front. So I'm going to start with the back. And with my stitch unpicker, I'm just going to lift the red fabric. I don't want to disturb the stabilizer underneath. Push it in and just make a little slit so that I can get my scissors in. And then just remove the fabric from the center of the eyelet. And now the same on the front. And this time you're going to have the fabric and the batting to cut out. Making sure that I haven't got any batting left in there, because otherwise it's going to poke through the satin stitch and we don't really want that. You're going to pop your hoop back into your machine and stitch round number 14, and that's going to do all the zigzagging around the raw edges and also inside around the eyelets. You're going to want a matching bobbin in your machine for this round, and you're going to stitch round number 15, and that's going to do the satin stitch edge on the bunting and for the eyelets. You're now going to free your bunting from the hoop. I'm now going to remove all the remaining wash away stabiliser. So I've got my warm water and cotton bud. I'm just going to run that round the edge. That's our bunting finished. I hope you enjoyed this stitch along. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be notified of new videos as they're published. Do pop along to Kreative Kiwi's Facebook group. There's always plenty of ideas and inspiration there for everybody. And thank you very much for joining me.